What's going on, everyone? So, Demar Derozan to the Sacramento Kings is official. Demar Derozan lands a 3-year deal at $73.7 million is what he ultimately got for the 3 years, and only $10 million of that is fully guaranteed in the third year. So, basically, Demar Derozan went and got the bag. He was never coming for the full mid-level exception. He now gets to go and play for the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento is trying to keep up in the arms race, as it was put, against the rest of the Western Conference. Personally, Demar Derozan, I'm not really sold on the fit with Sacramento. Obviously, you never know until it actually gets there. I don't really think that him, De'Aaron Fox, and Malik Monk are a great pairing. Sacramento's issue wasn't offense. They've been one of the best offensive teams in the league the last few years. It's been the defensive side of the ball, and, obviously you need help for De'Aaron Fox, and DeMar DeRozan would help with that. But I worry about the lack of defense. I worry about crunch time in particular. They do a really good job of playing the right way during the first 3 quarters. Once they get to the fourth quarter, it's a lot of heavy isolation, a lot of De'Aaron Fox playing hero ball or Malik Monk playing hero ball. And so is it a clunky fit? Now, look, if they can make it work offensively, they're going to be very dynamic. You got 3 guys now that could just go get a bucket, right, whenever you want. And that adds a lot of value. But I also think, and you look at a team like the Phoenix Suns, right? A lot of Phoenix's issues are now the same issues with the Sacramento Kings, only Sacramento has a worse trio, right? Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal are better than De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, and DeMar DeRozan. And yet all of the issues are still the same. So I'm curious to see how it plays out. And for those that are like, oh, it's just because he's Sacramento. No, I talked a lot about the same issues with the Lakers. But the difference between Sacramento and the Lakers is Sacramento already has 2 guys that do what DeMar DeRozan does. The Lakers don't. The Lakers don't have that just natural scorer, that natural bucket getter. LeBron, yeah, he can shoot over the top, but it's not really his game. He's more of looking down, shooting that 3 ball, or he just kind of puts his head down and gets to the basket, right? Where the Lakers lacked a guy like DeMar DeRozan, where you could just give him the ball and let him isolate. Sacramento, they don't really need that, right? They have 2 guys that could do that. Now, again, I think the fit with the Lakers would have been questionable, but I think that the upside and potential was higher given that DeMar fit an actual need for the Lakers as opposed to Sacramento. I just feel like this was a name on the back of the jersey and an upgrade to upgrade. Defense still wins championships. And look, I also said that if the Lakers acquired DeMar DeRozan, that they needed more. That DeMar DeRozan wasn't the answer to all the Lakers' problems, that they're not an automatic contender, the best team in the league with DeMar DeRozan, but that I did think that DeMar would raise the ceiling to where they'd have instead of a puncher's chance, it would be a haymaker chance, because now they have a guy that could help close and hit big shots down the stretch. But with the Lakers were very interested in acquiring DeMar DeRozan. We got a ton of reports that the Lakers were hoping that he would sign for the mid-level exception. A lot of talks about the Lakers inquiring about a potential sign and trade with the Bulls, that the Chicago Bulls, they didn't want D'Angelo Russell, that they'd have to work on a 3-team deal. And it was just kind of this mess of man, it's going to make it very difficult for the Lakers to acquire DeMar. If it's via sign and trade. Could they sign and trade? Yes, at the time they could have, because DeMar DeRozan was one of the guys that LeBron was interested in taking a discount for. So it was kind of hey, if the Lakers can make a push for DeMar, that makes sense. In hindsight, personally, I'm glad that the Lakers didn't sign DeMar DeRozan, because at basically $25 million a year, at 73, basically $74 million total for 3 years. And yes, only $10 million is guaranteed. Still, it's if it doesn't work, Sacramento is potentially stuck with him. And now what? Now they're paying $25 million for a guy that they might not even be able to get off of. And that was a concern that I had with the Lakers. It's if he comes for the mid-level exception all day, every day, including Sunday, right? That's a no-brainer. You go get DeMar DeRozan. But at $25 million a year, I don't necessarily know if he's worth that considering he's not the missing piece, right? Like if we were a DeMar DeRozan away from winning a championship, and it's like, man, if we get DeMar DeRozan, Lakers are, a top 3 to 5 team in the league, then sure, go do that. Who cares if you have to pay him $30 million? Who cares if he's the piece that you need to put you over the top? But he wasn't, right? DeMar DeRozan was the piece that would have made you a lot better, but you still needed a Jeremy Grant or, another piece or two. Just kind of using Grant as an example, right? You still needed something else. And so that was my concern. So I'm now in hindsight, how everything worked out, I'm actually glad that the Lakers didn't go and pull for DeMar, because as much as I wanted DeMar, and I talked and was hoping the Lakers would acquire him back in at the trade deadline. But now, again, with knowing how he wanted the bag, which also, quick note, I don't ever want to hear DeMar DeRozan talk about wanting to be a Laker and this, that, and the other. Like, he needs to just not talk about the Lakers anymore, because literally he went on a campaign tour for like a whole year while he was with Chicago, and was sitting there crying about, the Lakers, and, I thought I was going to be a Laker, and blah, blah, blah. And every opportunity he's gotten to talk about wanting to be a Laker, he's talked about wanting to be a Laker. I mean, even this offseason, he talked about how he wanted to be a Laker in an interview, and talked about how, he's hoping it's a possibility, and blah, 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 right? And he had an opportunity, and he chose not to do it. And now, reports are coming out per Shams that apparently the Lakers didn't actually put in an offer, that it was just basically pure interest. So again, per Shams Charania, I'm told the Lakers never went beyond expressing just simple interest in DeRozan. There were no offers or tangible conversations with the Bulls on a sign and trade deal, which again I think is very interesting, because for a long time all we heard was that the Lakers were interested in DeMar, and that Chicago and was willing to orchestrate a trade to, even if he wanted to go Lakers, wherever he wanted to go, and that the Lakers, but they didn't want to take on salary, and that the Lakers would have to reroute D'Angelo Russell. I mean, there were reports that the Brooklyn Nets, like that's where the Brooklyn Nets came in, and the Nets were very interested in potentially acquiring D'Angelo Russell, that they liked him trade deadline, they still liked him, and were interested in working that out and being the third team. Now, dust is settled, all is done, and it's like the Lakers didn't even put in a sign and trade offer, which, again, if I'm sure, my guess based on this report, again, I don't know this, I'm not, gotta keep in mind, we're not in the room with Rob Pelinka. We aren't in on the conversation. I mean, even neither is Shams or anyway. All Shams and all these reporters and everybody, all they're doing is getting the information from whoever, the janitor, whomever, right? So to me, I look at it as the Lakers probably touched base, because it said he's just simple interest in DeMar, that there were no offers or tangible conversations. They probably hit up DeMar, or hit up the Bulls, and were like, what is DeMar looking for? And they were probably like, he wants $25 million a year. And the Lakers were like, okay, if we sign and trade for him for 3 years, we'd have to pay him $75 million over those 3 years. He'd be 38 at that point. And if it doesn't work, we're stuck. We're good. Hard pass. Right? And it looks like the market for DeMar was tiny also. Because, I mean, the Heat were interested in apparently touch base. It sounds to me like a lot of teams just kind of touched base with DeMar. Right? And, I understand the frustration that people have. You look at DeMar DeRozan, you look at Klay Thompson, right? Klay Thompson ends up going to Dallas over the Lakers, right? But to me, I would have loved either of these two, right? I think that either of those two would have made us better, right? I know people talk about Klay, oh, he's washed, he's this, he's that, and the other. He still shot 38% or 39% from three-point range on 9 attempts per game, averaged 18 points. Him alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis would be great, right? I question, again, the fit with Klay on Dallas, simply on the matter of the offense that Dallas ran. Also, Luka led the league in isolation. Kyrie was fourth. So, and Klay Thompson is a movement shooter. So, I question the fit, but he made his decision. All these guys wanted the money. In hindsight, we saw that none of these guys really wanted or cared about they wanted the money more than they wanted anything else. And LeBron James was willing to take a discount to acquire these guys. And none of these guys wanted to do it. None of these guys wanted to they looked at it as, okay, LeBron will take a discount, but I'm not. And, yet I want to go to Lakers. I want to do this. It was silly. At the end of the day, to me, it just sounded like it was all talk. It sounds like, hey, I can use the Lakers as leverage to go get the deal that I want. Right? Like, hey, I want $25 million a year. Worst case, I could always just go sign with the Lakers for a year. And there were those reports that DeMar might contemplate, just signing a 1-year deal and taking the mid-level exception just for a year until more cap space is freed up by other teams next season and blah, blah, blah. Same thing with Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson, he may take the middle. It was all just noise. But I'd rather the Lakers not overpay. Because again, neither of these guys were the guys that put us over the top. If DeMar Derozan or Klay Thompson were the guy that made us like, oh man, we get Klay Thompson, we're a championship team, then yes, I would have, who cares? If you have to pay him $30 million, do it. But he wasn't. We need the whole offseason, it was, we need DeRozan and we need Klay and. So why are you going to overpay for guys? I understand people want to trade. I understand people want the Lakers roster to be better, right? I understand that people are looking at these other teams and going, man, like all these other teams are improving and blah, blah, blah. But are they? I mean, seriously, how much better does Klay make Dallas? Does Dallas win the championship if they had Klay? Do they beat Boston? No, I don't think so. I think that they're maybe slightly better, but I still don't think they're that much better. And then DeMar, like, again, Sacramento's issue wasn't offense. They were number 1 in offense last year, and they were like 4th, I think, this year. Right? Like, they've been a good offensive team. They averaged like 119, 120 points a game. Like, offense hasn't been the problem. So how much better does DeMar make Sacramento, especially a team that prides themselves in pace? And it's just, I don't know. It's just, I'm okay with the Lakers standing pat personally. But as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of, hey, stand pat? These guys weren't worth it. Do you think that, no, you should have went and got these guys, even if you had to overpay? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you want to like this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.